Before we begin, I want you to slow down for a moment. Wherever you are, walking, resting, studying, or trying to sleep, just let your mind settle. This video is simple. Minimal visuals, no distractions, just a soft voice, and a story that may stay with you for a long time. Because tonight's story is about loss, about hitting the bottom, and about discovering the kind of wealth that can't be measured in numbers. This is the story of a man who had everything, lost everything, and learned something priceless. His name was Jonah. At 28, he was living the dream. New apartment, new car, high-paying job, weekend parties, expensive clothes, and a bank balance that made him feel unstoppable. People envied him. They said he made it, and Jonah believed it. But there was one problem. Everything he owned him. Loans, credit card debt, EMI, lifestyle pressure, and the constant need to look successful. He didn't save. He didn't invest. He didn't plan. He thought money would always come. Until one ordinary morning, it didn't. Jonah lost his job, and in just a few months, everything he had built on sand collapsed. His savings? None. His car? Taken back. His luxury apartment? Gone. His friends? Disappeared. He sat alone on a cold floor in a small rented room, staring at a cracked window and thinking, how did I go from everything to nothing? That night, Jonah cried for the first time in years, not because he was broke, but because he felt lost. The next morning, Jonah woke up with a strange calmness. He looked around the small room, saw nothing valuable, and somehow felt lighter. He realized something profound. Maybe losing everything was the only way for me to learn anything. That day, he made a silent promise. I will rebuild my life, properly, slowly, wisely. He started reading books about money. He learned about budgeting, investing, compound growth. He watched hours of free educational videos. He took small jobs, saved small amounts. He said no to instant pleasure. He said yes to long-term peace. For the first time, he started building the foundation he never had. Months passed. Jonah saved his first $100, then $500, then $1,000. It wasn't much, but it was honest, and it was his. He learned to delay gratification. He learned to separate wants from needs. He learned the power of patience. Slowly, the boy who once spent to impress became the man who saved to protect. He invested small amounts into index funds. He created an emergency fund. He tracked every dollar. He rebuilt his habits, his mindset, his discipline. And people who once laughed at his downfall were now asking him, how did you change so much? Jonah simply smiled, because they didn't know that losing everything had given him the chance to rebuild himself without the noise of ego. A few years later, Jonah was not rich, not in the flashy way people think, but he was wealthy emotionally, mentally, financially. He had savings. He had investments. He had peace. And he had one thing he never had before: control. One evening, as he sat on a park bench watching the sunset, he thought about his past life, the expensive things, the fake friendships, the constant pressure, and he whispered, I wasn't rich back then. I just looked rich. True wealth, he learned, is not measured by the things you can buy, but by the things you can walk away from without losing yourself. If you're listening to this, maybe you'd lost something recently, a job, money, motivation, direction, or maybe parts of yourself, and it hurts. I know, but maybe, just maybe, this is not the end. Sometimes life breaks you so it can rebuild you stronger. Sometimes you need to lose the wrong things to make space for the right ones. Your comeback starts with one decision, one habit, one small step that says, I deserve better, and I'm ready to build it. Thank you for listening. If this story touched your heart, and if you want more calm, audiobook-style stories about money, growth, mindset, and life, make sure you subscribe. Your journey matters, and I'll be here, one story at a time.